I'm live. Yes, I am. I'm not used to doing it straight live on Facebook. I'm used to Zooming it. So here I am. Good afternoon, District 73 and Ohio and beyond. My name is Kim McCarthy. I'm the Democratic candidate for State Representative for District 73 here in Greene County. And that district includes the cities of Bellbrook, Fairborn, Beavercreek, and Yellow Springs, and the townships that surround them. So we're getting close to the election, just 3 Front Porch Fridays to go. So I wanted to take this opportunity. Normally I have guests talking about issues, but I figure we're close to the election, so I should probably focus a little bit more on me and what I'm running for. So first of all, let me just update with the campaign. We are still running our rallies on Saturday afternoon if you'd like to participate, and then Sundays at 1 we are doing lit drops. So those are real easy. We give you a list, we give you the door hangers, and you can, here they are, you just go to the houses, put them on the door, and move on. So it's beautiful weather for doing that, and we appreciate all the help that you can give us to get my name out there at this important time of the race. So this week we've had a little bit of, do I say drama? Do I say excitement? No, I say insults. We've had a steady stream of smear mailers coming out from my opponent. We've had 5 now within 2 weeks. So that's a pretty heavy schedule. And if you remember, the first time was when my face was photoshopped onto the body of some kind of a spray paint graffiti artist. And then it just went downhill from then. But the piece de resistance was this week when I was cropped onto a Girl Scout body, and I was basically insulted because of the stances I take and compared to a Girl Scout, and was told that I was the far left's favorite Girl Scout. So obviously not being complimentary to an incredible organization that has done so much work over many years at building up our young girls, creating leaders, teaching girls how to hold their own in, let's face it, what is a male-dominated world. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how my experience has been running for office in that male-dominated world. Yeah, it's this is an outrage. I mean, coming from a candidate who has no positions on his website, didn't fill out the standard informational surveys that we are sent as candidates, who's really just hidden behind a couple of hot topic issues. This is it's a disappointment to me as someone who's stepped up in good faith to run for this seat, thinking that it would involve me and an opponent where we could put our ideas forward and people would be able to compare them. We could debate each other and people could decide for themselves who has the best ideas to deal with the issues we face. But there's been none of that. We have a guy who feels pretty entitled to this seat because his party has held this seat for the last 30 years and nobody has really had to campaign on issues in order to win that seat. So, we can't forget that he was also handpicked by the Speaker of the House, who's now indicted, Larry Householder. He was picked to be part of Team Householder to help preserve householders' power in the House. That is not what we need as a leader in Columbus. We need someone who's going to advocate for the people and address the issues we face. And I am running to be that person because I cannot be bought. I'm doing this because I've learned where our elected officials are letting us down. I don't intend to go there and be those same people. So enough of that. We'll see if any more mailers come along. Hopefully they're ending, but at the same time, we've been working for months and actually years, because I ran in 2018, to show people who I am, what I stand for. And so I hope that that message has gotten out there and that all these smear attacks are seen as the smear attacks that they are. So we'll, I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. So I think an attack like this really shows us that we do need more women in elected office. I think it's important to say that I'm not accusing every man of being a misogynist. Obviously, there's lots of great men out there who are our allies, but there's some who aren't. And they're not the kind of men we need in elected office. We need men, if they're going to represent us, to represent all of us, regardless of our gender, our skin color, who we love. We should be recognized and respected as individuals, whatever that individual looks like. So I wanted to talk about why I'm running. So, you know, I have been involved politically as a citizen for probably about 10 years, but a lot of my focus in the beginning was on federal issues. And it wasn't until 2016, we all remember that election, when I walked out of my polling place and was really shocked at how, my dogs, Boomer, come here, come here. Oh, he was trying to leave the yard. He's coming, he's a good boy. Walked out of that polling place and was so disappointed at the lack of choices down ballot. So I walked into the Greene County Democratic Party after that to kind of say, hey, what's going on here? Do you guys need some help? Why are there no Democrats on the ballot? So at that same time, a lot of other people showed up. There was an amazing level of energy surrounding, post 2016 election. So when I was kind of meeting all these new folks, I had made that decision to look closer to home. And I looked at my local meetings. So I live in Sugar Creek Township, and those meetings twice a month, they just didn't suit my schedule. But the Greene County Commission meetings, they did. And they meet weekly on a Thursday at 1 p.m. So I decided that I was going to start going to those meetings and just checking out what was happening. And I did. I went every week for over a year, and I followed the issues that came up. I'm an accountant. I looked at the budget that was happening right when I started going, and I started standing up and asking questions. You know, why are you doing this? Why don't you do this? And it was through that interaction that I saw a pattern emerging where the state was constantly cutting back funding, and the state was standing in the way of real progress at the local level. So then I looked to our state representative, which was Rick Perales at the time, and I saw somebody who did not represent my values. I saw someone who was not standing up for the cities and the counties. I saw someone who was on the same team. All of these representatives were on the same team, and it became obvious there was this old boys club where nobody questioned anybody else. So I didn't think that that was a very good setup. And that was when, after a year, I decided that I was going to run for that seat, because there was nothing that I saw that I was not capable of understanding and making better decisions on. So that was back in, like I said, 2018. But with those meetings, attending those meetings in that year, I encouraged other people to join me. And then we did develop a really great, strong core of people who went every week and helped me advocate for our community. We helped we started working with the sheriff on the new jail that they had in the works. It was actually on the ballot in the spring. We worked on stopping a large grove of trees from being cut down unnecessarily. We touched on so many different issues, basically anything that came across the table of the commissioners. And it was a really amazing time. I mean, I learned so much, and I met some amazing people, and we're still great friends to this day. So Greene County Voices is the name of the group that I started to help work on these issues. And we have a Facebook page, and we're still trying to do what we can. COVID kind of slowed things down. We don't go in person so much anymore, but we are still following what's happening. But we have been working to elect other people to office at the local level, and we have had one success at the Fairborn City Council in 2019. That was Tana Stanton. She's my treasurer. So she's doing wonderful things there in Fairborn too. So we're so proud of her doing that and working for the people there. Some of the things we had to deal with when we started attending these commission meetings, firstly, they were not used to having people come in and ask questions. I remember one of the first times I put my hand up and asked to speak, one of the commissioners said to me, "Oh, yes, we welcome your input. Come on down here. You have such a pretty blouse on. Why don't you come down here to the microphone where we can all see it?" Yes, that's what he said to me. I was like, is he serious? So, it was statements like that that made me realize that my values were not being represented, the Greene County Commission. Another time, which was not too long after that, one of the other commissioners said to me when I was questioning one of their statements, he said, "If you don't like what we're doing, why don't you run for office yourself?" Well, I kind of took his advice in that case, at least. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on that that work against women speaking up, and we've seen the studies that when the women are in large groups of men, that it's harder for them to be heard. I will have to credit my father and my mom. I was not raised to think that I was not capable of doing anything that I put my mind to. So these misogynistic comments coming at me didn't so much impact me and make me feel lesser. It made me more determined to see better representation. And I hope that's what it does for you too, because we need better representation, period. So I ran in 2018, like I said, and you know what? We did the best that any challenger had done for decades. And you know why? Because we actually spoke about the issues that people faced. That hasn't happened in Greene County in District 73. Like I mentioned before, we have Republicans who hide behind these hot button issues and appeal to traditional or single issue voters. We didn't have anyone saying, "How's your healthcare premium going? How are you coping with all those high deductibles? How's that low paying job working out? How's your lack of family leave working?" Right? How are those ever rising property taxes? How is your school coping with all these cuts? We spoke about those issues, and we didn't make it a left versus right thing, because those issues affect everyone. And that's why we're here, right? If not to address the issues, to make our community stronger, it's not a left versus right thing. It is getting people into office that will use good public policy to address economic issues. And my raising in Australia, I saw different policies in place that do not exist here, and I saw how much they benefited our society. So I have that experience to drive me and to show I know for a fact that when you use public policy to promote everyone, that it makes life better for everyone. And that really is one of the reasons why I'm running. I'm sick of public policy not being used to make people's lives better, to help the middle class, to help the working class. It's not. We have bills being passed that put $1 billion into the pocket of a failing fossil fuel company like First Energy, who feels they can bribe our elected officials to get the policies they want. Ohio politicians are not for sale. And with that, I should mention that my opponent obviously was connected And, you know, everyone tells me he's a nice guy, and I believe that. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I barely know him. We've had next to no interaction in this campaign. But we don't nice guy. The feed is glitchy. We don't need a nice guy who, oh, let me see. We don't need a nice guy who doesn't understand how money and power works in Columbus. We need someone who does understand it, who will stand up against those money interests. I'm sorry if my internet sucks. All right, so we've had complete control by one party for 30 years, and that breeds corruption. And now we've seen the results of that. 2 speakers of the House in a row that have been taken away by the FBI. Not good. We need accountability. We need people like me who will go there and hold people to account and provide balance to our democracy, because without that, we are failing. All right, so I guess my last thing I want to say here is I voted on Wednesday, and there was still a lot of empty seats on that ballot, especially all the way at the bottom. Please consider getting involved. Start going to your local meetings, to your city, to your township, to your county, and find out what's happening, because I think you're going to find that there are places that need your input, especially if you are in the minority, if you're not represented at this moment. Your community needs you. So that is my spiel, I guess. That's why I'm running. I found out what was happening and I didn't like it, and I've seen better, and I know how we can fix it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Economic policies exist all around the world, and we have the evidence of what makes communities stronger and what kind of policies don't. And we are not addressing the economic problems we face, and we could change it if we do. So, internet access would be good. Like Dorothy has told me, we need a place, well, we need internet that is treated like a public utility, because we need internet to survive in this day and age. And here I am out here, I have to survive on a hotspot. I live just 5 minutes outside of Bellbrook, and I have no access to anything other than my cell phone. So that is definitely part of my platform. And I think of all the children who are missing out on a proper education working from home without high-speed internet access. We not only need it to be accessible to everyone, we need high speeds, and we need affordability. So I think the pandemic has obviously proven that without a doubt. A lot of farmers in our community are also suffering. They use GPS out in their fields to help with their crops, and they also are not getting the access to the internet that they need to do that. All right, so yes, Dorothy is saying our schools, teachers, and students need better funding. That's obviously part of my platform. Yeah, her kid's school is too small and outdated to apply social distancing properly. Yes, this pandemic has definitely exposed a lot of our vulnerabilities, because as I have spoken about in the past, here's my little executive summary from One Ohio Now. We're going through 10, 15 years of disinvestment in our public infrastructure. And that shows. I mean, imagine if you didn't invest anything into your house for 10 or 15 years, it would slowly begin to break down. And then you would have to put a whole lot more money in to bring it back up to order. But at this point, we have no choice. We can't move on and just buy a new house. We have to rebuild what we have. And we need to start electing people who want to invest in everyone, as opposed to investing in a handful of people like First Energy executives, for example. So, all right, so I'm going to stop talking. It's been 20 minutes. I don't see any questions. Don't be shy. Does anyone have anything for me? I don't know how glitchy the video is. That's always annoying. Oh, I can see it going in and out, 0 kilobytes per second. Charming. You know, I think if I'm just gonna, oh no, I can't bring I can actually switch my hotspot and see if that makes a difference. But this weekend, we are gonna be in Fairborn handing out literature, 1 o'clock on Sunday, if anyone is interested. All right, I'm gonna switch. I have 2 different mobile hotspots. I'm going to switch over to the other one and see if that makes a difference. Hopefully I can do it without. All right, I'm back on a different hotspot. I wonder if that makes a difference. I see it going up and down. All right, well, if there's no questions, I won't sit here and bore you all. I need to get back to work, have a little lunch, and enjoy this beautiful day that it's turned out to be. So if anybody has any questions, obviously I am online, I am accessible, just throw them at me. My website has a ton of information, probably more than you would ever want to read through. It's kimmccarthyoh.com. I encourage you to go there. It has stances on a whole lot of different issues. So, all right, well, thank you for listening today, and I hope you enjoy the week. We'll see you here next Friday. I think next Friday I'm going to introduce you to my ducks and chickens. They're always a fun time, let me tell you. All right, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the day. We'll talk to you again soon.